Michael, let's discuss this coaching carousel because, boy, I'm a little surprised that we sit here on this Saturday, January 27th, and Atlanta Falcons, we all thought it was going to be Bill Belichick. They had 2 interviews, but they go ahead and hire Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator with Los Angeles Rams, to where Belichick, Vrabel, they're out there, and apparently I guess they're not going to be coaching in 2024 unless we see something change drastically.
Well, I mean, Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons, said this is a historic day for the Falcons franchise. We've done a comprehensive search. Seriously, now, look, what is the search when somebody can put 6 Super Bowls on a table and nobody else can match it? Is that really a search? So, look, this is classic NFL jargon. Now, let's go back a little bit. This team hasn't been to the playoffs in 7 seasons, okay? All right, they haven't been there. Since Rich McKay has taken control of the team in 2004, they've been to the playoffs 7 times. They went to 1 Super Bowl, lost to the Patriots. So this is an organization that tends to sputter in mediocrity, clearly. And this decision to be called a historic day is somewhat strange when you consider that they could have made history if they would have hired the greatest coach of all time. They chose not to. They chose to value, and this is not about Raheem Morris, they chose to value their structure. They chose to value Terry Fontenot, their general manager, Ryan Pace, their personnel director, and Rich McKay, who's claiming that he will not be involved, but let's be real clear, he's always involved. He has always been involved. Ask anybody who works in Atlanta. And therefore, you know, they decided their structure was better. And this is what we call in the NFL guard your desk. This has gone on in so often in the league because people don't want to bring competition in. If you were Terry Fontenot and you were told that if Belichick comes in, he wasn't going to you were not getting fired. Okay? You were told that. You were going to do your job. Why wouldn't you want to hire the greatest coach of all time? Why wouldn't you want to have that level of competition come in? Why would you settle for someone that you feel like is the right fit for your team, your culture, the shared vision of success? What is the shared vision of success? You've been the GM for 3 years. You've won 7 games. You've drafted 3 skill players in the top 10, and your offense was 25th in points scored. Like, tell me what the shared vision is. Your shared vision is better than Belichick's shared vision? I find that hard to believe. So this is all just about people protecting their turf, and I hope Raheem Morris does a great job. But I think it's going to be a very challenging job, knowing that the infrastructure is the same infrastructure that hasn't been to the playoffs in 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, this is the infrastructure that now has Arthur Smith unemployed out there after 3 straight 7-win seasons. And you mentioned, I want to ask you this question, because you said that if Terry Fontenot was told that he would be remaining as his job if Belichick was brought on, do you think that he was told that, or was there more uncertainty there?
Yeah,
okay, you know there was. Okay.
No, I think clearly he was told that. I think he was definitely told that. I think it was, Arthur Blank did not want to make that change. I think everybody within the organization's nervous. Look, it's funny. We just wrote this for the Daily Coach for Monday. When Bill Walsh was late in life, he said goodbye to a lot of people. And one of the many people he said goodbye to were the people he competed against, whether it was in college or pro, because he felt they made him a better coach, right? Walsh loved competition. He wanted the bar to constantly be raised. He embraced it, right? He embraced it. And so when you have that mindset as a leader to embrace competition, to bring people in that could perhaps make you better or compete against people that make you better, your organization becomes better. But when you rely on self-interest, when you basically are constantly guarding your desk and saying, no, we don't want him. I mean, really, seriously, you're selling to the people in Atlanta that the combination of Fontenot and Raheem Morris is better than Belichick and anybody else. Right? You're saying that. If you believe that, if you really believe that, then, God bless you.
Yeah. And I mean, we know that these guys, I'm sure in these positions, very confident in their abilities, but I don't know how you can be confident when the evidence isn't out there for the Atlanta Falcons.
There is no evidence.
There's no success whatsoever.
There is no evidence. I mean, Atlanta won 7 games. That you can blame Arthur Smith for the 7, but I think if you were to ask Arthur Smith, and many people have behind the scenes, that there was dysfunction within the building. I mean, everybody has their own agenda within the building, right? The salary cap guy, everybody's kind of independent within it. And, it's kind of a surprising move. But what happens here all the time is Blank has relied on Rich McKay for advice for 20-some plus years. okay? That's been his main go-to guy for advice. And Blank can't see that maybe he's not getting the best advice from McKay. Now, they did a nice job of politically covering up this whole charade by saying that McKay will no longer be involved in a day-to-day operation, that an 83-year-old Arthur Blank is going to be having the GM and the coach report directly to him. Great. I'm not buying that, okay? I'm not buying that. No one's buying that, right? McKay's going to always be involved because McKay is always involved. And so this is what happens. It's self-preservation. And if you're a Falcon fan, this is what you're dealing with. And I like Raheem. I think Raheem deserves to get a head coaching job. Do I think he was a good head coach the first time? No. But obviously, I think he's been a very good defensive coordinator. My commentary about the Falcons situation has nothing to do with Raheem Morris. It has really nothing to do with Belichick, because you could say you passed on Vrabel too here
exactly.
now.
Yep.
I mean, you passed you passed a 6-time Super Bowl winning coach, but you also passed a guy that you've watched and observed just up the road a little bit, and you've passed on him. And so for me, it's hard for me to believe that they actually think that their infrastructure, their culture is so good. I mean, Fontenot said this. He said, I'm excited to work side by side to bring a championship to Atlanta. Raheem's the right fit for our team culture and shared vision for success. What is that shared vision? What is it? Did Arthur Smith not have that shared vision? I mean, it's a little bit bad, and you are trusting that Fontenot is going to find those diamonds in the rough. Good luck.
I know we talked about this on the podcast, but for our weekend audience here on Lombardi Line, like, why do you think we're here to where Bill Belichick, 6-time winning Super Bowl head coach, Mike Vrabel, who's a terrific coach, he did a wonderful job in Tennessee, went to the AFC title game with Ryan Tannehill at his quarterback. Like, no shade to Ryan Tannehill, but like, I think most football fans would know that he's not one of the elite quarterbacks. Like, why do you think those guys are on the outside looking in of this coaching carousel to where there was 8 positions when we started this thing, and now we're down to 2, and there's no indication of them getting a job?
Well, look, nobody wanted Lamar Jackson, including the Atlanta Falcons, who that front office went out of their way to announce that they weren't interested. It wasn't that they weren't interested. They announced they weren't interested, right? Yeah. They put a statement out, we're not interested. Why would you be? Why would you be? Why would you trust the front office that wasn't interested in Lamar and put a statement out to build your future? I don't know. The reality of the situation is there's a prevailing feeling within the culture of the NFL that coaches that demand accountability, coaches that demand discipline, coaches that work the players, coaches that are trying to compete on a high level is going out of style. Okay? Oh. Let's look at the 4 teams we're going to evaluate this weekend, right? Detroit, busting kneecaps. You think you don't practice? They have accountability. San Francisco, read Hargrave's commentary between the difference between San Francisco and Philly, right? Baltimore, they're one of the most competitive teams in the league. Kansas City, come on. It's never going out of style. It's the perception that's going out of style. People may say, well, Belichick's methods are old. Really? Have you ever spent 10 minutes talking to the man about his methods? Like, his methods are going to go on forever. It's the secret to winning championships are the methods. It's the same methods, different how they're approached, but the same method in Kansas City, Detroit, obviously Baltimore, and San Francisco. So it's just it's the sense of the league, and it really comes down to who's in control. Guard your desk.
It's really disappointing because, like, when you grow up and you watch this sport and you watch this league as a fan, like, you want to believe that it's a meritocracy. But yes, it's not a meritocracy.
No, it's the entertainment business. It's the entertainment business.
Yeah.
Winning really is, and Walsh said this in 1984.
Winning is secondary.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.